Namaskar. For the last decade or more, myself and my wife Shalini have been campaigning on environmental issues. The three areas where we were concentrating more was rainwater harvesting, vegetable composting, and above all, the use of plastic, campaigning against the use of plastic. We have been fairly successful because a lot of people came to us and consulted us on these three issues. As I got more and more involved with the campaign and interacted or observed other campaigners who are working on the environment, I noticed there's a difference which is very critical for the whole campaign per se. Let me give you some detail about it. Starting with rainwater harvesting, the most important reason for rainwater harvesting was, as what the government and various voluntary organizations who were working on rainwater harvesting suggested, was you could get your own water supply and reduce your dependence on municipal supply. And of course, incidentally, you save on floods. When less water goes into the city, your flooding of streets and others don't take place. When I went into this topic a little deeper, got some of the samples analyzed and made a comparison between rainwater harvested, between rainwater and groundwater per se. Something very interesting came out. We realized that the quality of the rainwater was far superior, or I would say comparable, to the quality of groundwater. I mean, it was comparable to the quality of tap water and far superior than the quality of groundwater, particularly in the city of Hyderabad. The only contamination that I found on analysis or in rainwater was the staphylococci and salmonella bacteria, the source of which are the bird droppings that you get on rooftops. Whereas groundwater in many cases had biological contamination, but it was highly contaminated chemically. For instance, the content of fluorine in several bore wells I tested was higher than the permissible limits. So my emphasis shifted from just talking about the environment to talking about the impact of change on the health of people practicing rainwater harvesting. Coming to vegetable composting, the most important issue in favor of vegetable composting was you reduced the quantity of wastage so that the solid waste management becomes a manageable issue, particularly for the local bodies. There was a bigger fallout of this exercise of vegetable composting. You not only reduced your contribution to the solid waste of the city, but more important to the health of your own family was when you used vegetable compost, consumption of chemical fertilizers went down. In other words, you are growing organic vegetables, fruits and flowers, which are an excellent substitute to what is grown by artificial fertilizers. And my most important campaign was on plastic. I have watched several videos and observed several campaigns on plastic waste management, including the approach of the government. The emphasis was on ensuring that plastic doesn't go into the dumps, garbage dumps, because it is not biodegradable and it stays there for hundreds of years. Reading a lot of literature and observing on the internet, I realized that more important than the reduction of plastic, particularly the single-use plastic, water bottles, plastic cans and plastic bags, these were all very big health hazards. Many of you must have heard about BPA, bisphenol A, and the health problems that it causes on regular consumption. There are hundreds of studies which have been carried out. I could, if you are interested, I could give you the references if you get back to me, which proved that it is a health hazard. BPA is a health hazard, and it is always available in most plastics, particularly food grade plastics, where we store our food, mineral water and things of that kind. There's been a study carried out in the United Kingdom which says that 87 people who came to a fertility clinic, their urine tested positive in BPA. And there's been a very interesting book which has been published, a very small book on plastics. There are 9 varieties of plastic with different raw materials. Each one of them has some health hazard. Each one of them has health hazard. For instance, styrofoam, the foam mattress that you utilize, the plastic sanitary napkins which our women use, each one of them was a health hazard, and not just a minor health hazard, but a serious health hazard. I think this is where I thought there is need for a mid-course correction. Today I talk more about the health hazards of these 3 rather than the environmental hazards, which is very much there, and which is actually the bulwark of the environmental campaign. I think I must appeal to my fellow environmentalists that please emphasize on the health issues involved. Any of you who would like to get more information on these issues of the impact on health of rainwater and vis-a-vis groundwater, vegetable composting, and importantly, plastic, you're welcome to write to me in my comment section. Alternatively, you can get in touch with me on my internet ID, ajitkumarmahendra@yahoo.com. I would be very happy to share the little information that I have gathered from books and the net. Have a nice day. Namaskar.